So with that, I'm going to head and start things off and start with a broad definition of social capital and really talk about, start with a broad definition, and it's really the value derived through connections within and between social networks, characterized by trust and reciprocity. And I wanted to start here because this is a notion that's been around since the dawn of civilization. And it's been fundamentally important for individuals and companies and cultures and industries to gain prominence and success. So this is really the foundation that we're going to build on. So if we update this for the digital world, we're talking about expanding the definition and bringing a lot more clarity and specificity to it with the value derived from a person or brands, collective digital presence, including their social graphs, the level of influence, and the use of digital social networks.
Now today, we're not very good at this. We're not very good at finding these people. We're not very good at identifying how influential, how much social capital they have, where do they go, what do they do.
My slant on this conversation today is around social influence and how we're going to help brands identify influencers. Because like Zach just said, brands can't scale talking to every one of you out there as much as you have your Twitter accounts and they like to say things. It's impossible for them to keep tabs on all of you. Social conversations lead to purchase intent. This is the pot of gold. This is what people want. They don't just want to know who's talking about them and are they happy or sad. They want to know how can we move these people toward purchase intent. And that gets into the whole social marketing that Zach was mentioning. So if you buy into this concept, a couple of years ago, people started to say that social media tipped the balances in favor of the consumer. Consumers had gained control of companies' brands. I don't totally buy into that concept, but there's a lot of people who think social media, the consumer owns the brand now. Well, if that's the case, and there's some truth to it, if that's the case, then the shift to influence metrics is going to balance it back to brands. Brands are going to regain the upper hand, because if they can look into this audience and they can say, I know who I have to be paying attention to and who I slightly need to pay attention to and who I can ignore, they're going to be able to run their business a lot more effectively. So influence metrics, telling them the size of the conversation and who's positive and negative and all that is great, but if you can really start to profile who are the people that I have to be, it really matter to my business or industry, it's a game-changing metric for them. Wow. But what we need to do is educate the marketplace a little bit better and say, what are the types of metrics that, for instance, let's take social influence for a second. What are the 150 things that a brand should think about when they're trying to determine social influence? If we could define that and put it on the table, and then each brand at least says, well, I believe these 10, or I believe these, that's a step in the right direction until we fumble our way to our standards. But there's a fundamental lack of things that go into these data sources and these metrics, and I believe that if we, and the word of mouth marketing organization and South by Southwest have done a great job of educating, but if we could just get them all on the table and let brands decide for themselves, I believe that's a major step to getting to a standard. It's not if, it's when. When we get this right, this is a $1 billion opportunity for anyone who's in this business.